Hi, I'm Helly. Welcome and welcome back. This is a quiet space for yarn, rest, and soft things. In this tutorial, we're going to make a tissue holder which you can hang on your bag, and then a flower cable holder, a stripe cable holder, and a star-shaped cable holder which I don't have with me because my little sister stole it and bring it to work, so I will just have to make a new one today. The full material and written pattern are listed on my blog, which is linked in the description box below, so I would suggest that you open the written pattern while doing this with me because it is going to make it so much easier for you to follow along. So in this tutorial, you will need two crochet hook size, which is 4 mm and 3 mm. Then for the cable holders, for the center of the flower, I use a 5-ply yarn, and then for all of this, I use a velvet yarn. And then for the stripe design, I only use a velvet yarn. Lastly, for the star design, I use a 5-ply yarn for the main body and a velvet yarn for the border. Then you will also need a snap buttons for the cable holder. Then I also use a felt fabric and glue it on the back of each cable holders just to make it neat. So this is totally optional and you can decide whether you want to do it or not. For the tissue holder, I use a fluffy yarn for the base, which is the green base here and the pink border. And then for the two flowers, I use a 4-ply yarn, and for this one, I use a 5-ply yarn. This is a velvet yarn or a chenille yarn. And for the second bow, it is a 5-ply yarn. And then I just use some beads and glue it on just to fill in some space and make it more cute. However, in this tutorial, I'm not going to use the fluffy yarn because it's impossible for you to see what I'm doing. Instead, I'm using a 5-ply yarn, which makes the stitches much clearer. But if you want to learn how to crochet with fluffy yarn and develop super power eyes that see through the stitches, I've got a solution. A quick thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. I recently followed a class called Modern Crochet by Tony Lipsy, and it's been a huge help. Watching the steps while crocheting along makes even tricky stitches totally doable and literally feels like they are sitting with me showing every step. And wait, that's not the best part. They've got such a wide variety of classes, not only in crochet but also in art and illustration, animation, video editing, marketing, photography, and so much more. Whether you're building creative skills or just trying something new, there's always a class waiting for you. It's the perfect place to build confidence with the basic. I love how no matter where you're at, beginner or advanced, you always find something new to level up your craft. I know fluffy yarn can be an enemy to us crocheters, but with Skillshare, I finally figured out how to handle it. If you ever struggled with fluffy yarn or tricky stitches, Skillshare let you learn at your own pace from amazing creative. I'ma be honest, I wouldn't have figured it out without the class, and this is actually my first time crocheting with fluffy yarn. The first 500 people to use my link in the description or scan the QR code will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Get started today. 1 month to explore, learn, and create even with tricky stitches. Now, let's get crocheting. Now, we're going to start making the tissue holder, and once again, I am going to use a different yarn because you're not going to be able to see if I use a fluffy yarn. So we're going to start making a slip knot. So to make a slip knot, you're going to hold your yarn like this. So we're going to make a loop. Then you're going to twist your yarn. So basically bringing this end to your right and this working yarn to your left. So just twist your yarn. So just twist your yarn. Then you have this X shape in the middle. So just take your working yarn and put the yarn on top of your loop. And from the back, you're just going to pull it. Then take your crochet hook and insert your hook into the loop and then tighten it up. So the end is going to be at the back and your working yarn is going to be at the front. So you're going to take this sample of the tissue that you want to use. Basically just any pocket tissue that you can get at your local store. So I'm just going to use this as my reference as how long and how large the tissue holder needs to be. So you're going to chain the width of your tissue and maybe add about 2 to 3 extra chain because you need some space here and here in order to fit the plastic into the tissue holder. So for mine, I'm going to chain 21. So yarn over and pull through to make your chain. So right now I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 19, 20 and 21. So for the 21 chains, as you can see, I have 2 extra chains here just to create the space that I need. So now we're going to start in the second chain, basically the second stitch. We're going to ignore the first chain as this is just our turning chain. It is just to make it easier for you to insert your hook into the first stitch. So go ahead and insert your hook into the first stitch, then yarn over and pull up loop, yarn over and pull through 2. So this is your first single crochet. So go ahead and just continue inserting 1 single crochet into each stitch until the end of your chain right here. So since I made 21 chains, basically minus 1, since the first chain is my turning chain, I will have to make 20 single crochets. So right now I have 5 single crochets, 6, 7, 8, 9, 19, and 20. So for round 2, until how many rounds you have to do, for this, you have to use your pocket tissue as your reference as how long you need the tissue holder to be. As of for mine, I need to do it until round 15. Also, it will be nice to have an even numbers for the rounds. So as of for me, I have to make 15 rounds. So basically, it is an even number. So the reason why the rounds will be nicer to have uneven numbers because later on, when we make the opening for the tissue holder, these two parts, the upper part and also the bottom part, has to have the same number of rounds. So now you're going to chain 1. So after you have done chaining 1, just turn your work and you will insert 1 single crochet in each stitch. So this is your chain 1 and this is your first stitch. So go ahead and insert your hook and make 1 single crochet. Then just continue until you have made 1 single crochet in each stitch. So the total number of single crochet that you have to make is going to be the same as before. So I will have to do 20 single crochets. So I'm just going to continue this until the end of this round right here. And this is your last stitch right here. You can see that we have like a V shape. So make sure that you don't miss it. Now just continue this step until it reaches the size of your tissue. So I have done until round 15 and I'm going to show you how to count your rows. You're going to put the end on your left like this and we're going to start counting. So as you can see, we have kind of like a den right here. So basically this is our first round. And then we have this horizontal lines or a dotted lines, as you can see. That is going to be our second row. Or another way to count your rows is, you can see that we have like an upwards V. The single crochet looks like an upwards V. And in the second round, the single crochet looks like a downwards V, as you can see. So that is basically your second round. So you're going to alternate between that and count your rows. So this is my first row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So now we're going to go ahead and fasten off. So to fasten off, we're just going to chain 1. Take your scissors and cut your yarn, then pull through and pull the end to tighten up the chain 1 to secure your work. So now go ahead and move on and make the front panel. Now let's continue with the front panel. So first we're going to do a slip knot. So it is basically going to be the same step as how we did the back panel. So to make a slip knot, you're just going to hold your yarn like this and you have this upside down U. Now you're going to twist your yarn, basically this end is going to be on your right and your working yarn is going to be on your left. So just twist your yarn and you have this X shape in the middle, then hold onto the shape, then go ahead and take your working yarn and put it on top of your loop, and from the back you're just going to pull it. Now insert your crochet hook into the loop and tighten up your loop. So I'm going to chain 21 chains, yarn over and pull through. So this is going to be the same number of chains as the back panels. Since I did 21 chains for the back panels, I also have to do 21 chains for the front panel. So we're going to start in the second chain and we're going to insert 1 single crochet in each stitch. So the first stitch is your turning chain, so basically we're going to ignore it. So insert your hook into the second chain, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through two to make a single crochet. So just continue inserting 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way down here. So right now I have 3 single crochets. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 19, and 20. You first need to do some calculations before moving on to round 2, because from round 2 and so on, it's going to be the same step. Basically, you need to calculate how many rounds you need to do and then you will move on and make the opening for the tissue. So the total rounds minus with 1, then the total number that you get from this, which for mine is 14, and then divide the total number by 2, then I get 7. Basically, the upper part is going to have 7 rounds and then this part is going to have 7 rounds. We will count the opening as 1 round. So basically, all of this equal to 15 rounds. So that is how you're going to count how many rounds you have to do before you create the opening. Now we're going to move on to the next round. So basically for round 2 until round 7, you're going to repeat the same step. So go ahead and chain 1, then you're going to turn your work, and we're going to make 1 single crochet into each stitch. So basically if you have 20 single crochets like mine before, you will have to do 20 single crochets. So this is the chain 1 and this is going to be your first stitch. So insert your hook into the first stitch and make 1 single crochet, and then in the next stitch 1 single crochet, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 18, 19, and this is your last stitch right here. As you can see, we have the V shape. So just insert your hook and make 1 single crochet. Now continue this step until you reach round 7 or the round that you have calculated. So once you are done, we're going to move on to round 8. So for round 8, you will have to make a little calculations because you will have to decide how many chains you have to make for the opening here. This is the front panel for the tissue holder. So for this part, which is the opening of the tissue holder, you will have to count it like this. So the total chains minus 1. So the minus 1 basically is your turning chain, and then you will have to divide it by 2. So since I did 21 chains, so I will have to minus it with 1 and then divide it by 2. So I have 10. So it is basically 10 chains. So the 10 chains is going to be the opening for the tissue holder. And then for these two sides right here, you will just have to count the total chains minus your turning chains, minus with the total number that you get here. So since my total chains minus 1 is 20, and then minus 10, I have extra 10 stitches. So for the extra 10 stitches, you're going to divide it by 2, so it's equal to 5. So we'll have to do 5 single crochet here and 5 single crochet here. So all of this is equal to 20. So you will have to make sure that the total number that you get for the opening and the two sides is equal to the total number of single crochets that you did for the tissue holder. So we're going to continue with round 8. So go ahead and chain 1 and then turn your work. So I'm going to follow this right here. I will have to do 5 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we're going to chain 10 just like this. So this is the opening of the tissue holder. So I'm going to chain 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, and 10. The total number of chains that you did is going to be the total number of stitches that you are going to skip. So since I did 10 chains, I am also going to skip 10 stitches. So from this part right here, since this is where our last single crochet is, you can see that we have a V inside of this stitch. So this is your last single crochet. So from here, I am going to count 10 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So this is going to be my first single crochet for this side. So I'm going to insert my hook, and then you're going to make your single crochet. And while making the single crochet, you will have to make sure that the chains is as close as the stitches so that you don't have any gap. So just make one single crochet. So this is this side right here. So I'm going to make 5 single crochet for my other side. So this is my first single crochet. So 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now on round 9, you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. Then we're going to make 1 single crochet in each stitch, including the chains that we did. So I'm going to do 5 single crochet first. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then for the chains, it is going to be a little hard, so I'm going to show you how to do it slowly. So we're going to insert our hook into each back bumps instead of the stitches, which is the V shape. So this is the front of your chain, and when you turn your chain around, you can see that we have the back bumps. So you will have to insert your hook only through the back bumps because you want the top part of the opening to be the same as the bottom part. Because as you can see, for the bottom part, we have like kind of like a V shapes. So we want the top part to have the V shapes too. So for the first back bump, it is usually right here. As you can see, you cannot really see it. Like it's not like this one. So it is honestly a little bit hard for the first one. So you're just going to insert your hook to the back bump. This is the back bump right here. You can use anything you have and just maybe get it in there and loosen it up a little. Then insert 1 single crochet into the first back bump. So make sure that the total single crochet that you made for the chains is the same as the number of chains that you did. So since I have 10 chains, I will have to make 10 single crochets. So this is my first single crochet. So 2. I'm just like using my nails to get into these stitches because it's kind of hard. 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. I am basically like struggling with you. 9, and this is your last peg bump. 10. So now just continue with 5 single crochets. Since I have 5 single crochets here, so I have to make 5 single crochet right here. So this is your first stitch right here. As you can see, it's a little stretched out, so go ahead and insert your hook and make 1 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. For round 10 until round 15, or until the round that you have to do, you will repeat the same step, which is chain 1, then turn your work, and then insert 1 single crochet in each stitch. So I'm going to see you once you are done. So once you are done, this is how it should look like. So the total number of rounds for the front panel should be the same as the back panels. And this part right here, which is the opening for our tissue, should be the center for the back panel, just as I said before. So now we're going to fasten off. So to fasten off, we're just going to chain 1. Then take your scissors and cut your yarn. Pull through and pull the end to tighten up the chain 1 to secure your work. So now once you are done with the 2 panels, go ahead and weave in the excess yarn. So to weave it in, you're going to take your darning needle and thread in your yarn. And you're going to go through the back stitch only, like this. And insert your needle and yarn through a few stitches. And make sure that the needle is not showing at the front, so that the part where you weave in won't show. Then I'm just going to skip this 1 stitch here and weave it again, just to make sure that it's really secure. And pull through all of it. Then go ahead and cut your yarn. So that is how we're going to weave in. So go ahead and weave in all of this excess yarn. So once you are done, this is how it looks like. So now we're going to move on and join the 2 pieces together with a different colored yarn, or you can always just use the same color yarn. It is always up to your preference. So I'm going to use this pink yarn to join it together. So now this is the top of each panel. As you can see, we have the V, and the bottom should look like this. So now go ahead and insert your hook into the first stitch of the front panel. And then insert your hook into the first stitch of the back panel too, like this. So you have the back panel and the front panel. So now we're going to attach our new yarn. So first you're going to do a slip knot. Then insert it onto your crochet hook and tighten it up. Then you will have to hold the end at the back, or else it will just slip off. So now we're going to pull through these 2 stitches like this. And then chain 1. Now in the same stitch, you're going to insert 1 single crochet. And also remember, you will have to insert it through the front and back panel like this. Then you will continue inserting 1 single crochet in each row, and then the stitches, and then the rows again, then the stitches again, but only through the front panel. So where you're going to insert your hook is, you're just going to follow this horizontal line and then or just use this line as your guide as to where you're going to insert your hook or your stitches. So your next stitch is going to be right here. So you're just going to insert your hook and make sure that each of the panels is aligned. Once it's all lined up, you're just going to insert the 1 single crochet into each row. So you're just going to follow each of the row, just like how I teach you to count it. It is also going to be the same way on how you're going to insert your single crochet. So this is basically how we're going to join the two pieces together. And then this is going to be my last row. Then this is our first stitch. So make sure that all of these stitches are lined up too. I'm just going to line it up first. Then once the stitches are all lined up, we're just going to insert our hook into the first stitch of the front and back panel and insert one single crochet. So this is what you're going to do for each stitch. And make sure to always insert your hook into the back panel too. Just make sure that you don't miss it. So you're going to do this until the end of the round right here. So once you are done, you're just going to continue with the same step as this side and join the two pieces together with one single crochet in each row. And again, make sure that all of the row is lined up so that it's easy for you to insert your hook through the front and back panel like this. Now this is my second last row, and your last row is going to be your first stitch right here. So you will have to create a small gap right here, or small hole, to insert the chains later on so that your tissue won't fall out when you hang it on your bag. So for this small hole, you will have to make sure that it is at the center of your tissue holder. So at this center, which is the hole that we have to make, you have to make 2 chains. So to calculate the single crochet that you need to do at the 2 sides, the total chains minus the turning chain, then divide by 2. For mine, 21 minus 1 equal to 20. Then 20 divided by 2 equal to 10. Then minus 1 chain, basically it's just 1 for each side since we need to do 2 chains for the whole. So I get 9 single crochets. So I will have to make 9 single crochet here and then chain 2, then skip 2 chains, and then make 9 single crochet here. So if your number of chains are not the same as mine, then you will have to count it yourself and see how many single crochet you have to make. So this is going to be my first single crochet, which is our last stitch that we did. So 1, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Then I'm going to chain 2, 1 and 2, then skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and insert our hook into the third stitch. So this is going to be our first stitch for the 9 single crochets that you have to make for this side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then this is your last stitch. So this one is going to be our last stitch because this is our first stitch that we did to join it. So basically 8 single crochet plus this one is 9 single crochets. So now go ahead and take your scissors and cut your yarn. Cut about this long because we need this extra yarn to weave it in later, then just pull through. Now for the back side, this is how it looks like. So we'll also have to make the border for the back side. So we're going to attach our yarn again. So go ahead and make your slip knot. Then you're going to insert your needle through the first stitch, which is right here. I really hope you can see it right here. And I'm also going to work over this end so that I don't have to weave it in. Then go ahead and insert your slip knot. And again, you will have to hold the end so that you have control over the yarn. Now go ahead and pull through and chain 1. Now in the same stitch, go ahead and insert 1 single crochet. So I'm going to carry these 2 ends so that I don't have to weave it in. Now all you need to do is just make, so the total of single crochet that you have to make is going to be the same as this side. So I'm going to make 9 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, and 9. Now we're going to insert 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Then we're going to chain, just chain until you like the length. So I will recommend that you chain about 55 plus, because you will need the chains to be like longer so that it's easy for you to insert it on your bag. Now once you are done, you're going to insert your hook into the next stitch right here. So make 1 single crochet. Then we're going to continue with 9 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So once you are done, go ahead and take your scissors and cut your yarn, then pull through. Now we're going to do an invisible join for these 2 ends. So invisible join is basically a fake stitch. So we're going to do that so that these stitches blends in seamlessly. But of course, if you don't want to do this, you can always just weave in the excess yarn. But I prefer to do it. So now to do an invisible join, you're going to go ahead and insert your needle and yarn into the first stitch and pull through. Then you're going to insert your needle and yarn into the last stitch of only through the center like this and pull through. So this is the fake stitch. Then to secure the fake stitch, you're going to go ahead and insert it into the fake stitch like this and pull through. And then insert it into the last stitch and pull through. Just go ahead and turn your work to the back and weave in this excess yarn. So then just keep this 1 stitch here and weave it in again. Then pull through and then take your scissors and cut your yarn. So now go ahead and repeat the same step for this side. So once you are done, this is how it looks like, as you can see. So now we're going to move on and make the butterfly and the 2 flowers. So it's raining right now, so I'm sorry if the audio sounds a little weird because I use a noise cancellation mode on my mic. So I'm going to use the 4-ply yarn and also 3mm crochet hook. So we're going to start with a magic ring. Hold the end of your yarn and then wrap the yarn around your 2 fingers and turn your finger around and hold it, then grab onto the second loop and twist it up and then release it from your finger while still keeping the shape. Then just chain 1. So we're going to insert 5 single crochets in our magic ring. So go ahead and insert your hook into the magic ring and make 1 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then go ahead and pull the end of the magic ring to close the magic ring completely. So just pull until there is no hole in the middle. So we're going to make a slip stitch into the first stitch. However, before making the slip stitch, we're going to change color to the pink yarn for the petals. So this is the first stitch right here. So I'm going to insert my hook into the first stitch. The first stitch is usually a bit side, so it's going to be a little hard for you to insert your hook. Then take your new yarn and make a loop like this. So the end is going to be on your right and your working yarn is going to be on your left. Put the loop on top of your crochet hook and you will have to hold the end of the yarn while crocheting or else it will just slip off. Then you're just going to pull up a loop. Then go ahead and pull through this loop right here to complete the slip stitch. And then this is the working yarn, so go ahead and pull the working yarn so that the slip stitch is tightened up. And we're going to chain one, so yarn over and pull through. So you will have to carry these 3 ends for a few stitches just to make sure that it's secure. Then in the first stitch right here where we have our slip stitch, we're going to insert a single crochet. So go ahead and insert your hook into this stitch, and again make sure to carry the end. So go ahead and insert 1 single crochet. Then take your stitch marker and mark the first stitch, which is the single crochet, like this, just so that you know where the first stitch is. Then in the same stitch, we're going to insert 3 half double crochet. So to make a half double crochet, go ahead and yarn over and insert your hook into the same stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So now just repeat this for 2 more times. So 2 and 3. Then we're going to insert a slip stitch into the same stitch. So insert your hook into the same stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. Then just pull through to make a slip stitch. Now repeat the step for 4 more times. So this is my last stitch right here. This is the slip stitch, so we're going to ignore that. This is the last stitch. So make 1 single crochet into the same stitch, into the next stitch, and make 3 half double crochet into the same stitch. 1, 2, and 3, then a slip stitch into the same stitch. So now we are done. So go ahead and cut your yarn and pull through and just remove your stitch marker. Now go ahead and take your darning needle and thread in your yarn. So first we're going to bring this yarn to the back, so go ahead and insert it into the last stitch, which is the same stitch for this petal. So just insert it and pull through, then turn your flower to the back, and we're going to weave in this excess yarn at the back of the stitches like this. And pull through, and I'm just going to skip this 1 stitch here and weave it in again and pull through. Then take your scissors and cut your yarn. Go ahead and repeat all the steps and make 1 more. Now I have my 2 flowers with me, so now we're going to go ahead and make the butterfly. Now for the butterfly, this is the yarn that I'm using, and it is basically a 5-ply yarn. But of course, you can use any yarn that you have as long as it is suitable with 3mm crochet hook. Now we're going to do a magic ring. So you will need the magic ring to be a little bigger because there is going to be many stitches that we're going to insert into the magic ring. So now go ahead and make your magic ring. I'm going to chain 1. Then you're going to make 2 chains. So 1 and 2. Then we're going to insert 3 double crochet into the magic ring. So to make a double crochet, you're going to yarn over and insert your hook into the magic ring, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So now insert 2 more. So this is my second single crochet, and this is my third single crochets. Then you're going to chain 2, 1 and 2. Then insert your hook into the magic ring like this and make a slip stitch. Then you're going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3. Then insert 4 treble crochets into the magic ring. So to make a treble crochet, you're going to yarn over 2 times and insert your hook into the magic ring, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So repeat this until you have a total of 4 treble crochets. So 2, 3, and 4, then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, then insert your hook into the magic ring and make a slip stitch. Now you're going to repeat the same step but with the other reverse. So instead of making the chain 2, 3 double crochet, chain 2 and slip stitch first, you're going to make chain 3, 4 double crochet, chain 3 and slip stitch first, and then you're going to continue with the double crochets. So once you are done, you're just going to pull this end to close the magic ring. So this is going to be a little hard because there is so many stitches inside, and make sure that you leave a little hole because you will need to make the butterfly body later on. Then you're going to take your scissors and cut your yarn and pull through, and then with your hook you're going to insert it through the center and bring the working yarn to the back like this, and just pull it a little bit so that this stitch is tight. Then at the back you're going to tie about 2 to 3 knots just to make sure that it's secure. You don't have to weave it in. So if you decide to sew it onto the tissue holder, you can use these 2 yarns and sew it on. I'm just going to glue it onto the tissue holder, so I'm just going to cut these 2 ends. Now this is how the butterfly looks like. So now go ahead and take your yellow yarn or any color of yarn that you want for the body. I don't know what you call that. I hope it's the body, I hope. Then take your darning needle and thread in your yarn. And I'm going to cut about this long. Then from the back, you're just going to insert your needle and pull through the center like this. Then leave some end at the back so that you can use that to secure it later. Then we're going to start from the bottom, so just insert your needle and yarn through the center again from the back like this and pull through. So we're going to wrap the butterfly like this and pull it tight, just not too tight. And then go ahead and do it for one more time like this. Then you're going to wrap the yarn around the top like this again. So insert your yarn and needle through the center and pull through. And you're going to do it again for one more time and pull through. Then I'm just going to bring this yarn to the back by inserting it at the bottom of the 2 yellow yarns like this and pull through. Then what you're going to do with this end is we're going to do 2 antennas for the butterfly. So to do it, you're just going to turn your butterfly to the back and wrap the yarn around the yellow yarn like this for a few times. Just going to do it about 3 times. Then this is going to be the antennas for the butterfly. So then just cut it about this long. Then you're going to do the same thing for this other end. So go ahead and thread in the other end into your darning needle and wrap the yarn around at the back of the yellow yarn just to make the antennas. So now just cut your yarn. So as you can see, like these 2 antennas, it's like the yarn doesn't have any strands in it because I glued them. So what I did was I took some fabric glue, like just a little bit, maybe like this, and I put it on my fingers, and I just like use my 2 fingers and apply the glue onto the yarn like this to make sure that the yarn is glued together and the strands doesn't show, and it's really sturdy this way and it's really pretty too. And of course you will have to wash your hands after this. Then all you need to do is just let it dry. After dry, you can cut it into your desired length. Now once the glue for the butterfly dried down, you can go ahead and glue it into this position, and if you want you can always change the position and be creative with it, place it however you like. So now you are done with the tissue holder. Next, we're going to do the star cable holder. So first, we are going to make a magic ring. So to make a magic ring, with your middle finger and thumb, you're going to hold onto the end and then wrap the yarn around your two fingers, which is the middle finger and index finger. So wrap the yarn around and you will have this X shape in the middle. Then turn your fingers around and with your ring finger, hold onto your yarn. This is going to be your first loop and this is going to be your second loop. So go ahead and go under the first loop and then with your crochet hook, grab onto the second loop and twist your hook. Then you're going to release this from your finger while still keeping the shape. You're going to grab it from this side and release it from your finger. Then hold your yarn. Then you're going to chain one. So yarn over and pull through. Next, we're going to insert 10 single crochets into our magic ring. So go ahead and insert your hook into the magic ring. And then yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through these two loops. So this is going to be your first single crochet. So go ahead and take a stitch marker and mark the first stitch. So go ahead and continue inserting 9 more single crochets. So this is going to be my second single crochet. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and if the end is too short, you can always just pull it a little bit because you have to make sure that you crochet over these two yarn. 8, 9, and 10. So go ahead and pull the end of your magic ring to close the middle completely. Just pull it until there is no more hole in the middle. As you can see, there is no more hole in the middle. Now, in the first stitch, we are going to insert a slip stitch. So the first stitch is where the stitch marker is. So go ahead and remove your stitch marker. And insert your hook into the first stitch. And then yarn over and pull up a loop. And then pull through this one loop right here. So that is how we're going to do a slip stitch. And what I usually do with my slip stitch is I just pull up my loop like this and pull the loop to tighten up this slip stitch so that it's not as obvious. I like to do this because I want this slip stitch to blend in with the rest of the stitches. For round 2, you're going to chain 1. Then in the same stitch where we made a slip stitch, you're going to insert 1 single crochet. So this is this stitch right here where we made a slip stitch. So insert your hook. And I am going to carry the end as I work over my stitches just so that I don't have to weave it in. So to carry the end, all you need to do is just put the end on top of your crochet hook and crochet over it. Now continue making your 1 single crochet. Then take your stitch marker and mark the first stitch. Now in the second stitch, which is right here, you're going to insert 1 half double crochet. So to make a half double crochet, just yarn over and insert your hook into this stitch. Then yarn over and pull up a loop. So you have 3 loops on your hook. Then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So that is how you're going to do a half double crochet. Then in the same stitch, you're going to insert 1 double crochet. So to make a double crochet, yarn over and insert your hook into the same stitch as the half double crochet here. Then yarn over and pull up a loop. So you have 3 loops on your hook. Then yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. 1 and 2. Then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So that is how you're going to do a double crochet. Then insert 1 treble crochet into the same stitch. So to make a treble crochet, you're going to yarn over 2 times. And then insert your hook into the same stitch. Then yarn over and pull up a loop. So you have 4 loops on your hook. Then yarn over and pull through 2. 1, 2. Yarn over again and pull through 2. 1, 2. Yarn over and pull through 2. So that is how you're going to do 1 treble crochet. Then in the same stitch, make 1 double crochet. Yarn over and insert your hook and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through 2. Yarn over and pull through 2. Then insert 1 half double crochet into the same stitch. Yarn over and insert your hook. Yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So this is the pattern that you're going to repeat for 4 more times. Basically 1 single crochet, and then in the next stitch 1 half double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 treble crochet, 1 double crochet, and 1 half double crochet, all in the same stitch. So go ahead and do this until the end right here. So I'm going to show you one more time so that you get the hang of it. So in the next stitch right here, insert 1 single crochet, and then in the next stitch right here, insert 1 half double crochet. So yarn over and insert your hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Then insert 1 double crochet into the same stitch, yarn over and insert your hook into the same stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, 1, 2, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Then insert 1 treble crochet into the same stitch, yarn over 2 times, then insert your hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Then insert 1 double crochet into the same stitch and 1 half double crochet into the same stitch. So sometimes these stitches are a little hidden, like this one. As you can see, this is your next stitch. If you like pull these stitches a little bit, you can see that this is your next stitch right here. But if you just let it be like this, it is a little hidden. So make sure that you get the next stitches, or else you will not have enough stitches to work with. So I'm going to make my last single crochet into the next stitch right here. And if the end is too short for you to carry, you can always just let it be at the back and cut it later on. Now in your last stitch right here, we're going to insert 1 half double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 treble crochet, and 1 double crochet and 1 half double crochet into the same stitch. So I'm going to make 1 half double crochet first. And then insert 1 double crochet into the same stitch, then 1 treble crochet, so pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2. Then 1 double crochet into the same stitch, and 1 half double crochet into the same stitch. So once you are done, it should look like this. Now go ahead and remove your stitch marker. Now we're going to make a slip stitch into the first stitch. For the slip stitch, we're going to attach our new color. So if you don't want to use a new color for the border, you can always just use this yarn and just continue with this step. So I'm going to use a yellow velvet yarn for this. So to attach the new color, go ahead and insert your hook into the first stitch. And then with your new yarn, go ahead and make a loop like this. So the end is going to be on your right, then the working yarn is going to be on your left. Then place it on top of your crochet hook. And you have to hold the end at the back, or else this yarn is going to just slip off. Then just pull up a loop. Then go ahead and pull through this loop right here. As you can see, we have a little gap here. So to close this gap, you're just going to pull this pink yarn, which is your old color. Now go ahead and chain 1 and make a slip stitch into the same stitch, which is the first stitch here. So insert your hook, and you will have to carry these 2 yarns, or else it will just unravel. You will have to carry it for a few stitches, and then you can go ahead and cut it. So go ahead and make a slip stitch. Then we're going to make 2 single crochets. So insert your hook into the next stitch and make 1 single crochet. And then in the next stitch, 1 single crochet. Then in the next stitch right here, which is the tallest stitch, basically our treble crochet, we're going to insert 1 single crochet into the stitch. Then I'm just going to stop carrying these 2 ends. I'm just going to cut it. Then we're going to continue by chaining 2. So 1 and 2. Then insert your hook into the same stitch and make 1 single crochet. Then we're going to make 2 single crochets. So insert your hook into the next stitch and make 1 single crochet. So 1 and 2. Then we're going to insert a slip stitch into the next stitch. So insert your hook and make 1 slip stitch. So you're going to repeat this for 4 more times. Now for the last star point, I am going to show you how to do it, because for the last slip stitch, it is going to be a little different than what we did for this one. Now we're going to do the last star point, and your last stitch before moving on to the last star point should be a slip stitch. Then we're going to do 2 single crochets. So 1 and 2. Then in the next stitch, insert 1 single crochet, 1, then chain 2, 1 and 2. Then insert your hook into the same stitch and make 1 single crochet. Then we're going to do 2 single crochet, 1, and your last stitch right here, 2. Now for the last slip stitch, we're going to do it into the first stitch for this round. So this is the first stitch right here. As you can see, we have the V. So insert your hook and then make a slip stitch. And once again, I'm going to tighten up this slip stitch. And then you're going to chain 1. Take your scissors and cut your yarn. Then pull through and pull the end to the back like this to tighten up the chain 1 so that our work won't unravel. Now this is how the star looks like, so go ahead and repeat these steps and make one more. So once you are done, this is how it looks like. So I have 2 stars with me for the front and back piece. So before we start sewing, we're going to weave in these 2 excess yarn at the top. So go ahead and take your darning needle and thread in your yarn. And this is the front of the star and this is the back. So we're going to go ahead and weave in this excess yarn at the back. So I'm just going to go through this back stitches right here, which is the yellow stitches. So I'm just going to go through it. Make sure that your darning needle is not showing at the front. You're just going to insert your needle through the back stitches. Then I'm going to skip this one stitch here and weave in the yarn again so that it's really secure. Now take your scissors and cut your yarn. And if you have excess yarn like this from carrying it, you can just cut it. Now go ahead and repeat the same step for the other star. Now we're going to sew these 2 stars together. So we're going to sew it on where we fasten off. These 2 is where we fasten off. As you can see, we can have like a chain 1 at the back. I really hope you can see it, but if you can't find where we fasten off, you can always just sew it anywhere else. Now we're going to put these stars together like this. So the 2 bag is going to face each other. Then go ahead and cut a long yarn and thread in your yarn for sewing. So I'm going to start sewing from my right side. So you are going to insert your needle and yarn into the chain 2 spaces and also the chain 2 for the back star like this. Then pull through. You're going to insert your yarn into the first chain right here. This is the first chain and then this is the second chain. So you're going to insert your yarn into the center of this stitch like this, and then it's going to be the same for the other star, and then pull through and also leave a little end right here so that you can use that to weave it in. Then insert it into the second chain only through the center like this and pull through. So you will have to make sure that all of the stitches are aligned so that it's easy for you to sew. Then in the second stitch, insert it through the center like this and pull through. And then in the next stitch, which is right here, pull through. So basically to sew it, you're just going to insert your needle and yarn into each stitches, but only through the center or only through the back stitches. Then I'm just going to do the same for the next stitch. And then this is the chain 1 part. So for the chain 1, you're just going to insert it through these stitches like this. You don't have to insert it through the center because you cannot see where the center is, so just insert it like this and pull through. Then this is the next stitch, so insert it like this only through the center and pull through. Then in the next stitch, now for the first chain 1, insert it through the center only and pull through. Then in the next chain, which is our last space where we're going to sew, and pull through. So I'm just going to do this one more time just to make sure that it's secure. Now insert your needle through this stitch like this and pull through. So basically what you're doing is you're going to bring the yarn to the inside of the star. Then just weave in the excess yarn inside of the star to hide it. And again, make sure that your needle is not showing at the front. I'm going to skip this stitch here and insert my needle in the next stitch and weave it in once more just to make sure it's really secure and pull through. Now take your scissors and cut your yarn. Now for the other end, go ahead and thread in your yarn. And I'm going to insert my needle into the next stitch right here. And I'm going to bring the yarn at the back of the star. And now just weave in the excess yarn. Now cut your yarn. So now you are done with the star cable holder. So go ahead and skip to the timeline right here where I show you how to cut the felt fabric as the star, then how to sew on the snap buttons. So to make the flower cable organizer, first we're going to start with a magic ring. So to make a magic ring, go ahead and hold the end of your yarn and we're going to wrap the yarn around your two fingers, which is your index finger and also middle finger. So go ahead and wrap the yarn around and you will have this X shape in the middle where the two yarns meet. Then go ahead and turn your fingers around and hold your working yarn. So this is your first loop and this is your second loop. So go under the first loop and then grab onto this second loop like this and twist your hook. Now, we're going to release this magic ring from our finger while still keeping the shape. So you're going to grab it from this side while holding the crochet hook. So grab onto the yarn and then hold your working yarn. Now, we're going to chain one. So yarn over and pull through. Now, inside our magic ring, we're going to insert 10 single crochets. So to make a single crochet, you're going to insert your hook into the magic ring. So insert your hook and make sure that you crochet over these two ends because this is what we're going to pull to close the ring later on. So now just yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through two loops. So that is our first stitch. Now go ahead and take a stitch marker and mark the first stitch. If you don't have a stitch marker, you can always use a bobby pins or a pepper clip, anything you have. Now continue inserting 9 more single crochets. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and if the end is too short, you can always just pull it a little because again, you have to make sure that you crochet over this end. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now pull the end of your magic ring to close the ring completely. Just pull the end until there is no hole in the middle. Now for the next round, which is the petals, I'm going to use a different color. So I'm going to show you how to attach a new color. But if you don't want to use a new color, you can always just continue with the next step without cutting your yarn. Go ahead and remove your stitch marker. Now we're going to insert a slip stitch into the first stitch, and while we make the slip stitch, we're going to change our yarn color. So go ahead and insert your hook into the first stitch. Then go ahead and take your new yarn color and make a loop like this. So the end of your yarn is going to be on your right and your working yarn is going to be on your left. Then put the yarn on top of your crochet hook. And you will have to hold the end of your yarn or else it will just slip off. And now just pull up a loop and then pull through this loop right here to make a slip stitch. Now as you can see, this slip stitch is bigger than usual, so what I'm going to do is with my working yarn, which is the longer yarn. You're going to pull it until this slip stitch is not visible. As you can see, this is the slip stitch. Now you will have to carry these 3 yarns while you crochet, or else this pink yarn will just unravel and this white yarn is also going to unravel, so you will have to carry it for a few stitches. Now moving on to round 2, you're going to chain 1. Then you're going to insert a slip stitch into the first stitch. The first stitch is basically the stitch where we made our slip stitch. So go ahead and insert your hook into the first stitch. And again, to carry the end, all you need to do is just put all the yarns on top of your crochet hook and crochet over it. Then just insert a slip stitch into the first stitch. Then take your stitch marker and mark the slip stitch that you just made. So this is the chain 1 and this is the slip stitch. Then we're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Then in the next stitch, we're going to do treble crochet 3 together. So go ahead and yarn over 2 times. Then insert your hook into the next stitch, which is right here. Yarn over and pull up a loop. So you have 4 loops on your hook. Then yarn over and pull through 2, 1, 2. Yarn over and pull through 2, 1 and 2. You're going to leave these 2 loops on your hook. So for treble crochet 3 together, basically you're going to do this 3 times. So this is the first one. So now go ahead and continue. So just yarn over 2 times and insert your hook into the same stitch. Then yarn over and pull up a loop. Then you're going to pull through 2 for 2 times. So yarn over and pull through 2. Yarn over and pull through 2. Then just make one more. So yarn over 2 times. Then insert your hook into the same stitch. Yarn over and pull up a loop. Then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So by the end of treble crochet 3 together, you should have 4 loops on your hook. Then just yarn over and pull through all 4 loops. Then we're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Then insert your hook into the next stitch, which is right here, and make a slip stitch. So yarn over and pull up a loop. Then just pull through. So this is going to be the first petals. So go ahead and repeat the step and make it for 4 more times. But for the last petals, I am going to show you how to do it. Also, for the 3 ends, I'm just going to cut it because it is getting on my way and I think I have carried it enough. So make sure that you don't cut the working yarn. Make sure to only cut these 3 excess yarn. Now, I'm going to do the last petals with you. So now go ahead and chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to insert treble crochet 3 together into the next stitch, which is right here. So just yarn over 2 times. Then insert your hook into the next stitch. Yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So go ahead and do this for 2 more times. So now you have 4 loops on your hook. So yarn over and pull through all 4 loops. Then you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Then you're going to insert your hook into the first stitch where we have our first slip stitch, which is basically where our first slip stitch is. This is the stitch right here, which is under the stitch marker. So go ahead and insert your hook right here. Then take your new color and make a loop like this and put it on top of your crochet hook and hold the end at the back. Then you're going to pull through. Then go ahead and make your slip stitch like this. So make sure that everything is tight, and I'm going to pull the pink working yarn to tighten up this slip stitch. And I'm just going to remove my stitch marker. And once again, you will have to carry these two ends so that your work won't unravel. So now we're going to chain 1. Now in the chain 3 spaces, which is right here, as you can see, we're going to insert 3 single crochets. So insert our hook into the chain 3 spaces and make 3 single crochet. So 1, 2, and 3. Then in the next stitch, where we have treble crochet 3 together, which is here, we're going to insert an increase. So an increase basically means you're going to insert 2 single crochets into the same stitch. So insert your hook and carry the end and make 2 single crochet. So 1 and 2. And then this is the chain 3 space, so we're going to insert 3 single crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to make a slip stitch right here, which is where our slip stitch for the pink yarn is. So I'm just going to insert my hook right here and make a slip stitch. Then I'm just going to cut these 2 ends because I have carried it enough and it's getting on my way. So now we're just going to continue this step until the end of this round right here. So I'm just going to show you one more time. So just insert 3 single crochet into the chain 3 space. 1, 2, and 3. Then insert an increase in the next stitch, which is the top stitch right here. So basically you're going to do 2 single crochets into the same stitch. And then in the chain 3 space right here, we're going to do 3 single crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Then insert a slip stitch into the same stitch as the pink yarn right here, where we have our slip stitch for the pink yarn. So insert your hook and make a slip stitch. So far this is how it looks. So go ahead and repeat this step until the end. So now go ahead and cut your yarn and pull through. Then take your darning needle and thread in your yarn. And you're going to insert your needle through this stitch right here, which is the same stitch as where we make a slip stitch. And bring the yarn to the back. And you're going to weave in this excess yarn. So I'm just going to weave it in right here. And I'm going to skip this one stitch and weave it in again. And pull. Then take your scissors and cut your yarn. And now this is how it looks like. So go ahead and repeat the step and make one more. So once you are done, this is how it looks. So we're going to sew these 2 flowers together. So first go ahead and cut a long yarn and thread in your yarn. So to sew it together, first we're going to align all of these stitches together like this. So we're going to sew these two petals right here. So remember that we have an increase in the treble crochet 3 together. We're going to insert our hook into the second stitch of the increase, basically the second single crochet of the increase, which is in the corner right here. So you're going to insert it only through the center of this stitch, and it is also going to be the same at the back. So now just pull through, and I'm going to tie a few knots with the two yarns. So I'm going to tie about 2 knots. So this is so that the yarn is secure, and leave a little end so that we can use that to weave it in. Now we're just going to sew these two together. So I'm just going to insert it into the same stitch as where we tie a knots and pull through. Front, you're going to go through the next stitch, and again only through the center of this stitch, and pull through. Then in the next stitch right here, and pull through. Then in the next stitch, and through the back stitch like this, and pull through. Then this is your next stitch right here, and the back stitch right here, and pull through. So honestly, there is no right or wrong when you're sewing these pieces, because as long as it is secure and are sewed together, it's going to be fine. But it's just that you have to align all of these stitches to make sure that it's straight and not crooked. So you're going to do this until you reach the first single crochet of our increase. So the first single crochet is right here. So this is going to be my last stitch. Then I'm going to insert it into the same stitch and tie a knot, maybe about 2 knots. Just pull through like this, and leave a little space, and insert your needle through the loop and pull through. So I'm going to do this about 2 times. Then insert your needle through this stitch. I'm just going to insert it right here and bring the yarn to the inside of the flower. Then we're going to weave in the excess yarn. So just go through the back stitch like this and pull through. And I'm going to skip this one stitch right here and weave it in once more so that it's really secure. Now take your scissors and cut your yarn. So now go ahead and weave in the excess yarn at the other side. So once you are done, this is how it should look like. This is the front, the back, and also the inside. So now go ahead and skip to the timeline right here, and I'm going to show you how to cut the felt to the flower shape, and also I'm going to show you how to glue it on and sew on the snap buttons. Now we're going to do this stripe cable organizer, and this is the easiest cable organizer that you can do. Now go ahead and make a, so to start, go ahead and make a slip knot. So to make a slip knot, just make a loop like this, and then go ahead and twist your yarn, and you will have this X shape in the middle. Then put your working yarn on top of your loop, and from the back you're just going to pull it. Then take your crochet hook and insert your hook into the loop and tighten up the loop. So your working yarn is going to be at the front and the end is going to be at the back. Now we're going to chain 5. So yarn over and pull through. So that is going to be your first chain. So 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we're going to start in the second chain, then we're going to start in the second chain, and we're going to make 4 single crochets. So insert your hook into this stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. So that is going to be your first stitch, then in the second stitch, 2, and this is your third stitch, 3, and then your last single crochet, and 4. Then we're going to chain 1, and you're going to turn your work. Then we're going to insert 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches. So this is your first stitch. So insert your hook and make 1 single crochet, 1 in the next stitch, 2, 3, and this is your last stitch. And before you finish off the last single crochet, go ahead and take your new yarn color and make a loop like this. So the end is going to be on your right and your working yarn is going to be on your left. Then put the new yarn on top of your crochet hook, and you will have to hold the end of your new yarn or else it will just slip off. Then you're going to pull through these 2 loops to complete the single crochet. Then you're going to chain 1, then you're going to turn your work, and we're going to continue inserting 1 single crochet in these stitches. However, you will have to carry these 2 ends as you make the single crochets or else it will just unravel. So to carry the end, you're just going to put it on top of your crochet hook and crochet over the end. So this is the first stitch. So you're going to insert 1 single crochet into the first stitch, and then in the second stitch, 2, 3, then before you finish off the last single crochet, go ahead and change your colors. So to change your color, just go ahead and yarn over with your old color, which is the white yarn, and pull through the 2 loops. Then chain 1 and turn your work. So since this is the front of our work, you're going to carry the end by putting it at the back like this, so that the end won't show at the front. Then in the first stitch right here, go ahead and continue with 4 single crochets. Then you're going to carry these 2 yarns for a few stitches just to make sure that it's really secure. So 1, 2, 3, and I'm just going to cut the end of my pink yarn because I think I have carried it enough. I just carried about 3 stitches. I'm just going to continue with my last single crochet for this round. So this is the pattern that you're going to repeat until round 14, and I'll see you once you're done. So I have done until round 14. I'm going to show you how to count your rows or rounds. So you will have to make sure that your working yarn is on your right. So to count your stitches, you can see that we have kind of like a downward V right here and then a upwards V. Or you can see that we have kind of like a line here. So that is basically your rounds. So this is going to be my first round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So I'm just going to unravel my last single crochet because on round 15 we need to change color. So for the last single crochet, you're going to insert your hook. So go ahead and make your single crochet and leave the 2 loops like this. Then take your other yarn color and put it on top of your crochet hook and hold the end at the back and just pull through these 2 loops like this. Then you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. Once again, you will have to carry the end at the back. So this is the back of my work. So basically, I'm going to carry these 2 yarns at the back. So I'm going to make 4 single crochets. So insert your hook into the first stitch and make 1 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and for the last stitch, go ahead and pull up a loop and then change your color again into the white yarn. So just pull through, then chain 1 and turn your work. So once again, you will have to carry these two ends for about 3 stitches or 2 stitches just to make sure that it's really secure. So for round 16 until round 18, all you need to do is just insert 4 single crochets. So I'm going to make 4 single crochets and carry the end at the back, because this is the back of my work, so I want these 2 yarns at the back of my work. So 1, 2, and 3, and I'm going to cut my 2 yarns at the back, and I'm going to insert my last single crochet for this round. So go ahead and repeat this step until round 18, basically for 2 more rounds. So on round 18, before you finish off the last single crochet, you're going to change your color again into the same color as the stripe. So I'm going to take my pink yarn and I'm going to put my yarn on top of my crochet hook, then pull through these 2 loops. Then you're going to chain 1 and then you're going to turn your work. So we're going to insert 1 single crochet all around. So first, go ahead and make 4 single crochet, and again you're going to carry these 2 yarns at the back of your work. So I'm going to insert 4 single crochet first. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we're going to continue working in each rows or each rounds, basically following how we count the rows just as I teach you before. So you can see that we have a done here, so this is where we're going to insert our hook. So you're going to insert your hook into the next row or next stitch right here and make 1 single crochet, and then in the next row right here 1 single crochet. And I'm going to cut these 2 ends. Once again, I have carried it enough. I just don't want it getting on my way while I crochet. Then this is your next row right here. So insert your hook and make 1 single crochet. So basically that is how you're going to do the 1 single crochet. Do it all the way down until you reach the bottom here. So I have reached the first stitch at the bottom, so I'm going to do 4 single crochets just like the top right here. So go ahead and insert your hook into the first stitch and make 1 single crochet, and you will have to carry this end so that you don't have to weave it in. So 1, and then in the next stitch right here 2, 3, and 4. Then we're going to continue with the same step and insert 1 single crochet in each rows. So this is the next row right here. You can just follow this side on where you're going to insert your hook. Once again, if the end is too short, you can always just cut it. I'm just going to cut it later. I'm just going to continue. So once you are done, this is how it looks like. So go ahead and cut your yarn, then pull through and take your darning needle and thread in your yarn. Now we're going to do an invisible join, or what I call a fake stitch. So basically a fake stitch will make these stitches right here blends in seamlessly. So I usually prefer to do that. But of course, if you don't want to do it, you can just always make a slip stitch. So to do a fake stitch, what you're going to do is insert your needle and yarn into the first stitch of this round like this and pull through. Then insert your needle and yarn into the center of the last stitch and pull through. And this is how it looks like. Now insert your needle and yarn into the fake stitch, which is here, to secure it. Pull through and insert your needle and yarn into the last stitch and pull through. Then turn your work to the back and you're going to weave in this excess yarn. I'm just going to weave it in like this. So you're just going to insert it at the back stitch like this and pull through. And I'm going to skip this stitch right here and then weave in the yarn again. Then take your scissors and cut your yarn. So now this is how the stripe cable organizer looks like. So go ahead and skip to this timeline, and on this timeline I'm going to show you how to cut the felt and glue it on the back of the organizers and how to sew on the snap button. So I'm just going to show you how to cut the felt fabric, glue it on, and sew on the snap button for the flower cable organizer, because it is basically going to be the same step for 3 of them. But since this flower is a little bit more complicated, I'm going to use this as an example. So you're going to trace these flowers on the felt and hold it in place and just trace the flowers. I decided to change into a blue permanent marker because the jelly roll, the ink doesn't want to come out. So I'm just going to trace the flower. So now go ahead and take your scissors and you're going to cut the shape that you have traced. Yeah, so once you cut it into shape, you can see that this part is not the same as this part. So what I usually do is I'm just going to put it on my organizers and see which one fits the best, whether it's the top part or the bottom part. And for this one, I can see that this part fits the best. So what I can do is I'm just going to fold it in half and I'm just going to cut the remaining felt that is showing through. So before gluing the felt fabric onto the cable organizer, you're going to take your snap button and you're going to sew it on to the felt first. So to sew the snap button first, you're going to thread in your darning needle and take 2 strands of any yarn that you have, and you're going to grab onto the end like this and wrap it around your needle about 2 to 3 times and hold where you wrap it around, and then just pull it down like this until you have a knot at the end. Make sure that you know which one is the front and which one is the back. So this one is at the back and this one is the front. And then for this one is the front and this one is the back. So I'm going to sew this one first. So place the buttons at the center of the top petals like this, and from the back you're just going to insert your needle and pull through, and then you're just going to insert the snap buttons like this just through one of the hole and pull through. Insert it through the felt, and from the back you're just going to pull it, and you're going to do this about 2 to 3 times. So from the back you're just going to insert it into the hole like that and pull through. So once you are done doing it about 4 to 3 times or 2 times, however you want, but the more you do it, the secure it is, then we're going to move on to the next hole. So from the back you're just going to insert your needle and pull through, and make sure that this button is at the center, and then just to repeat the same thing. So once you are done with 4 of these holes, you're just going to cut your yarn and pull apart the 2 strands, and all you need to do is just tie a few knots at the back. So this is how you're going to sew it on for this side. The second button that you have to sew, and it's supposed to look like this. So go ahead and do that for this side. So once you are done, this is how it should look like, as you can see. So now all you need to do is just glue it on the back of the flower. I am going to use a hot glue to glue it on, but you can use any glue that you have and glue it on the back of the flower. So I am going to glue this off camera. So that's it for tutorial. Thank you for watching and I'll see you again. Bye!